Welcome back to On Deck Circle Podcast. I am your Mr. Rogers host this evening in my cardigan, Nick Z, aka Nick Zaniboni, which is my actual legal name. I am joined by my friend, my colleague, Mr. Jason Beckner. Jason, how are you this early evening?
We are a little earlier today. Shout out St. Valentine. It's Valentine's Day.
Yep.
Love is in the air.
You know, me and my lovely wife, who is still at work because it's that early, which is kind of nice because I get to really have free reign of things.
You can let things fly.
It's gonna get wild and inappropriate, Jason. That's
what I like to hear.
I hope your fingers on that kill switch. Don't know if we actually even have that, but I would be remiss to not ask you my cold open question of the week. And Jason, since it is Valentine's Day, this is going to be simple. It's kind of a softball. It kind of goes along with our theme this week and kind of last week as well. And that's going to be, who is your fantasy crush of 2024? Ready? Slaps every fucking time.
I know. It's a bop, man. It's a bop. That intro.
All right, Jason. So let me hear it. I don't want to hear this A-list Juan Soto type player. I need just your guy that you're going into draft season and you're going to leave in over 50 to 75% of your
I thought you were asking me who was the most attractive baseball player.
Okay, Jason, you know what? I prefer this over my question. So please tell me who you find to be the most attractive.
My heartthrob Valentine baseball player is going to be Dansby Swanson of the shortstop for my Chicago Cubs.
Love that.
It's got the letters flowing.
A beautiful man. I don't know if I can honestly top that, but if I'm gonna try, I'm more of a I don't know how to put this in a way that's not gonna be weird. I need more of a man's man, and that's gonna be Bryce Harper.
Yeah.
That beard, give me it all. And that is what we're gonna stick with. We're not gonna even touch on the other one.
Yeah.
Another question that
I know this isn't on deck circle after dark, but I am getting a little bricked up.
All right, Jason.
All this Bryce Harper and Dansby Swanson talks got us off the rails here.
Before we get started, I just want you to hold me accountable that I have a story to end the podcast on, and I don't want to forget it. So just remind me of that. That's all.
Okay. But all jokes aside, and of the attractiveness, someone that I am trying to leave drafts with, if possible, don't want to reach too high because he's borderline B list, is O'Neal Cruz of the Pirates.
I've been seeing a lot about it. Like recently, I feel like that name is really getting more traction. I think people forget just how far he hits the baseball. I understand that it's the Pirates. It's not a sexy team, but boy, that profile. And I think you're going to get a discount in drafts because of it. So yeah, he's definitely be looking out for him on all my drafts. I've got plenty coming up.
Yeah, I mean, after the injury and the time away, it's like one of those names. Baseball is so convoluted with so many names.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, someone's going to draft him and you'll be like, oh, wait, why didn't I grab him? And hopefully you'll be like me and be the guy that does grab him. Or a little earlier than it, even reach a little bit if you have to, because I think he's in for a bounce back.
I totally agree with you. I'm not going to mention mine because he is somebody that I will be speaking about in this episode. So we'll just
Yeah. Well, before we get into the meat and potatoes this week, let's get down to some business here. If you want to get access to the most accurate fantasy baseball rankings according to Fantasy Pros, we also have draft cheat sheets, DFS betting projections, custom league advice on Discord. We have a great Discord going right now. I mean, we got a betting channel, DFS for hockey, basketball, baseball, football. Now the football's over, but still DFS on all that stuff. I mean, I just saw the Fan Six Pack tweeting out today. We have a hockey DFS cheat sheet. I'm not sure that many other websites can boast about that. So if you want to get some of those advantageous settings and things like that to your repertoire, you can do so by becoming an all-access member at fantasysixpack.net/plans. And right now, we have promo code F6PMLB24 to get an extra 15% off. Woo. What a steal on Valentine's Day. If you know, to our 13% female viewers, if you're looking for a last minute Valentine's gift for your man,
or for yourself,
or for yourself, yeah,
treat yourself type.
True. Good call. Yeah, gift out that membership to F6P.
Yeah, and this is gonna be an offer to only those that are listening right now. If you go in the Discord and at me, I will pay $5 of yours. If you are a female listener of the On Deck Circle, I will pay $5. So $5 off of your membership. You need to at me in the Discord right now, and then I will pay for your subscription of $5 off.
Nice. I like that call to action. Cupid Nick.
Yeah, that's totally me, Jason.
Yeah. All right, so last week we talked flag plants or must-own players. I feel like that was a really good topic and trend we had going. I feel like we should kind of keep going on that right now. We're still a little early for draft season. You know, pretty soon. Your first year player drafts are coming up, and also, startups are probably also. So before we get into a lot of the draft content, I figured it'd be fun to keep going here with, some more. This week we're going to do breakouts, Dynasty Baseball breakouts, which isn't necessarily guys that you must own. I kind of took it as guys that we think are most likely already owned and are going to probably take that next step and become top 100, top 50 Dynasty assets. And we each got about 2 or 3 guys here we can run through. And then I'm intrigued by the story you have at the end of the podcast here.
It's so good, Jason. I'm so fucking stupid. That's
I don't. All right. Well, I'll kick it off here first with my guy. One of my first breakouts this year, which argument could be made. There was a breakout in 2023, and that's CJ Abrams, shortstop for Washington. In 2023, 47 stolen bases, 18 home runs. So I kind of, when I was putting this together, I was like, the argument could be made that the breakout was already there. But I think I'm too in love. I'm going to use the word love a lot today because it's Valentine's Day. I'm too in love with CJ Abrams to not include him in this episode. I think you can see a little bit of a power increase this year. He came real close to 18 home runs. I think he can definitely get to 20. 25 might be a little bit out of the realm. We've never really seen this power up until last year. The profile was there with the power, and we saw it again in 2023. I think he makes that next step into at least 20. I don't think 2025 is a little stretch, but I think we also see 40 plus stolen bases again, leading off for the Nationals. And if you look at the Nationals roster and lineup, not great, but there's some cases to be made where he's going to have the opportunity to not only run, but the run scored will be there as well. You got Joey Munoz behind him. We got Lane Thomas, who had a huge breakout in 2023 as well. I think they've secretly, signed a few guys here that might be able to help increase his value a little bit. Again, he's only 23 years old. He's nowhere even close to his prime. If he can add a little bit of bulk, the power, I think, could even get to 25 maybe in a few years from now. I don't think that 25 home runs comes in 2024. But again, I'm talking about a guy that's only 23 years old still. Just now tapping into his potential. Last year, we saw him increase his barrel rate, his launch angle, his hard hit rate. And he even started to chase less out of the zone. So he seems to be taking that next step of maturity and kind of, takes a little bit of time sometimes. CJ Abrams was that centerpiece deal basically for the Juan Soto. He came back. There was a lot of high expectations on him. A lot of weight on his shoulders. Everyone was like, well, we traded away basically one of the best players in baseball. And all we got back was supposedly this star shortstop, and he failed to do any of that the first year. Last year was a great stepping stone. I think he continues to build on that. Right now, I forgot to even look this up, what his ADP is currently, but I bet you he will outperform that, and I believe he will. So he's 37 actually on redraft.
Mm-hmm.
Probably a little bit lower as far as this is NFBC, so it's obviously all high stakes redraft. He's probably more closer to like in like the 50 to 100 range for dynasty startups. But I think he could easily get into the top 25 by end of the year, especially if he gets to 20, 40 or 25, 50. He'll for sure. All I like to see is maybe get the on base a little bit higher. That'll come, right? He's still learning his ways. He's a switch hitter, kind of still struggles against left-handed pitchers, batting righty. So I think be patient with him again this year, and I think you'll see about a top at least a top 50 dynasty asset going forward.
Yeah, man, I totally agree with you here. And if we had this conversation last year, you would be saying as a dynasty asset, probably like 200, maybe 3. So he's already made such a huge jump. And again, I'm going to use a phrase I feel like I've been using a lot, and that's prospect fatigue. Yep. Abrams was drafted as an 18-year-old. Like he was in high school. So we've known about him for 5 years. And I don't know if he was top 5 or top 3 prospect at any point, but like he was up there. He was an elite prospect especially in dynasty circles. And then we had that fall off. And now we're here where he's fulfilling what we always thought he was. So it's important, especially with these elite level high school bats getting drafted. You need to remember and like just stone hands. Don't ever give up unless you're getting a crazy last season you wouldn't be able to get Duck for him in the offseason. Like it would have been like a third, like a second round first year player draft pick. And then right now you're saying, oh shit, now I'm fucked. But totally agree with you with Abrams here. I'm all about him. The stolen bases are great, but I think, like you said, where he's going to tap into that power more this season, and I'm really looking forward to it. He's someone that I'm targeting at shortstop for sure. In redraft. Yeah,
I'm looking right now. I went on, pulled up his Dynasty ADP. The Dynasty ADP right now is 59, so slightly a little bit lower than the NFBC redraft. And that kind of seems kind of where I would figure, like low, outside top 50. But I think he can obviously outperform that this year for sure.
Can you tell me what O'Neal Cruz is compared to him at ADP? And I'm curious where you're at with comparing the values. I'm assuming Cruz is a little bit later than that.
Yeah, O'Neal Cruz is
Cruz over him. Like
O'Neal Cruz ADP is 88.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. So I would take Cruz over him in that. Like if I'm guaranteed to get Cruz at 88, I would rather.
Yeah, there. I agree. With Cruz, we know the power's there. That's one thing that CJ Abrams, the 18 home runs last year was a bit of a shock.
Yep.
I'd like to see it continue, obviously, but I don't think anyone saw 18 home runs coming from a 23-year-old CJ Abrams last year. So for sure. I agree. I would rather wait a few rounds and grab O'Neal Cruz, who might get you consistently 25-25, where I don't know if CJ Abrams can do that consistently.
Yep. Totally with you there. Thank you for looking that up. I love your new setup with the multiple.
You like that? I know.
Now I can just like tell you to do stuff.
Yeah. Look at this. I just rearranged my office and my at-home office, and we got benefits already.
Hell yeah. All right.
All right. We're gonna go to one of your guys here.
Who is it?
We're gonna go with the thumbnail himself.
Oh, my man Eury, dude. There's no such thing as pitching prospects, Jason. Eury is not a pitching prospect. He is an elite pitcher. And do you know when he showed that, Jason? Last season. Last year, man. I understand the sample is small. Only 91 innings pitched. Whatever. Don't care. He was 5-6 on a somewhat overachieving Marlins team. But I would also give the reasoning that he was one of the big reasons why they overachieved. But 5-6 ERA, 3.15 108 strikeouts in 91 innings. I love that. Over a strikeout an inning for those that are keeping track at home. And my most important thing about pitchers, especially young pitchers, Jason, is he didn't walk people because his whip was that of 1.13. Love that. Nice low whip. His walk percentage was, hold on one second, 50%. What?
8%.
8%. That's fine with me. With a young pitcher, and how old is he? 22? 20. Jesus Christ. A 20-year-old pitcher. He is elite as elite comes. I understand that he is a top dynasty asset, but he is someone that you can have be the anchor of your rotation for the next 10 to 12 years, like 10 to 15 years, 30, 35. So it is someone that I think the sky's the absolute limit for. And specifically, I'm thinking of redraft for these, because these are those guys. He's one of the guys that you can get later in a redraft, and he's going to bring back value to you because next year he's going to be a top pitcher in redraft. So you always have to be that year ahead with the zero pitcher method that I've been campaigning for the last 2 seasons.
Was Eury Perez on your TGFBI team last year?
No.
Oh, well, he wouldn't have been able. I guess you could have drafted him, but
no,
probably would have been a waste.
I think he was a waivers guy, but this year I'm gonna have to pay up a little bit, but maybe like Brown. Can you look up his NFBC? Yeah.
I already have it.
It's probably like top 100.
So a couple things. First off, the biggest thing with Perez is like you said, the 108 strikeouts in 90 innings. His K rate and his strikeout ability is through the roof. Mm-hmm. His CSW of 30.5 as a 20-year-old is insane. He's got almost 17% swinging strike rate, which is 95th percentile. Again, this is like you talked about already, a 20-year-old. These are things that you see from pitching's always one of those things that like it takes longer to learn and progress versus hitting. Most pitchers don't find their groove until like almost 30 years old. Like, I don't think Max Scherzer, even like the best, like Justin Verlander, their best seasons are like, late 20s, early 30s. So to see a 20-year-old put up numbers like this, it's awesome. Let's see you want his NFBC?
Yeah.
It's actually surprisingly only 79.
Oh, okay. All right. Maybe
that'll be close to like would that be, well, that's like the 5th round.
Yeah. Can't do it.
6th round.
Can't do it.
Yeah, it might be a little early for you.
We'll see. I might be lightening my stance a little bit, Jason.
But get this. His dynasty startup ADP right now is 99. So he's so it's crazy. And yeah, he will definitely outperform a 99 ADP for your
unless he's
True. Yeah. But you're talking about, like you said, I mean, if he can continue to progress this way, and then you're getting you're talking about almost a decade. Like these, like if he can live up to the hype, I mean, you're talking about a guy that's like top of the rotation, top of the arm rotation that like can go for a decade of 200 plus strikeouts, and then he'll get 200 strikeouts in only like 150 innings. He won't even have to go like these crazy 200 inning seasons.
Yeah, I can't wait. Very excited about Eury.
Nice. All right, let's see. Now we'll keep the pitching rolling, and I'll go to my pitcher that I'm in love with because it is Valentine's Day. I love, and that's if I get my thing to work here, Cole Ragans of the Kansas City Royals. I think we are going to see a big season here from Ragans. Unfortunately, he's on the Royals, but hey, you can't blame the player for what team he's on. He also once got traded, I think, straight up for Chapman. Am I remembering that correctly? Aroldis Chapman. Texas was like, we don't know what to do with this guy. Gave him to the Royals. The Royals were like, we're going to make this guy a starter. Once he went to the Royals, instant efficiency. I mean, it's insane. If you go look at his his outlying stats or like his advanced metrics, it's crazy. He made 12 starts last year, with the Royals. 7 of them were quality starts. He had multiple double-digit strikeout games. He started throwing his curveball less and his changeup more, which obviously was a big factor of why he was getting these strikeouts. And not only that, but he implemented a slider in 2023, which got great results as well. The pitch mix, once you made that switch, really made his become more effective. He had a K rate and a CSW above 30%, so almost in the same line as we just talked about with Eury Perez. High K potential. His 16% swing strike rate was in the 94th percentile. These are almost like identical numbers, and we didn't even talk about what pitches we were going to talk about before the season started, or before this episode.
No,
we brought up guys that are now. I think Ragans is not, he's obviously a little bit older than 20 years old, but I don't think it's anything to scoff at. I think the Royals have found he's 26. So look at the difference of some guys can go, talking about a guy 6 years older than Eury Perez and putting up the same numbers. So that kind of shows you where Eury Perez is on that timeline. But he was huge last year for the Royals. I think another year at the front of the line rotation, I'm pretty sure he was going to be their ace. I don't know who else they have on that team as far as starting pitching.
Baby.
Let's see. I'm pulling up the roster resource right now, but I got to imagine Cole Ragans is slated to be not only their opening day starter, but their every 5-day ace. Yes, he is dominating that rotation without a doubt. I think he's just starting to tap in. Again, he just became a starter this past year. His fastball sits in the upper 90s, throws a ton of smoke, throws high heat. I think this guy is poised to be. You know what? I didn't look up his dynasty. These are all. I didn't even think about pulling up all these ADPs, and I'm glad we have it available here. Yeah. So right now his ADP is 102.
102. Okay.
So it's crazy to think about Eury Perez and Cole Ragans having almost identical ADPs, and Eury Perez is 6 years younger.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
That's nuts. I'm a big fan of Ragans, and he's actually, I'm not. I'm going to say that this is going to be, I don't know if we've all tried to search sleepers, and I feel like the CBS article is going to say, finding this season's Cole Ragans. So he's someone that I think is going to get a lot of buzz in the next month or so, and I would not be surprised if we see that ADP become like 80 to 75 once these drafts really start getting, especially all the TGFBI drafts. I think people are gonna. I don't want to say reach on Ragans, but
no, again, he's gonna start getting helium.
To realize that the sample is super small with him, and I understand the sample for Perez is small, but Perez has the length of his career is so much shorter, and he's proven already. And this kind of it took Ragans a little while. So he's someone that I want to watch. I'm definitely interested, especially with the later pitcher format that I enjoy. But I'm treading lightly on Ragans. Would love for him to do great.
Yeah, I agree with that sentiments. I feel like his 102 ADP is already getting a lot of helium. That seems awfully high.
Yeah.
For a guy with, like you said, small sample. He's only made 12 starts. He did make 9 starts with Texas in 2022. Very ineffective. So we're talking, what's this? 21 career starts.
Yeah, I'm rooting for him. Like him, was amazing last season. Great story.
Yeah,
but just tread lightly. That's all.
Yeah, and shockingly enough, he had, even on an abysmal Royals team, he had 7 wins and 12 starts. So
I don't know.
And the Royals, not quite as good as the Orioles, but kind of turning that corner where they got like Bobby Witt, some of these young guys coming up.
Exactly.
Gavin Cross was a high pick last year. He might be around this year too. So I think might be some brighter times ahead for the Royals, but definitely keep an eye out for Cole Ragans. Maybe not at the 102 ADP, but if you can get him a little bit later, that'd be great. All right, let's jump over to one of your guys again.
All right.
Another guy getting a lot of helium.
Dude, what the fuck was that? We picked so many trendy names. Nolan Jones, though, man, at the beginning of the year, this is like, I feel like last season I found out Jake Berger hit 30 home runs like after the season was over. And I was like, holy shit, Jake Berger hit 30 home runs. I'm pretty sure I said that on this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
But Nolan Jones, man, he got traded to the Rockies. Obviously, that's a great place to be for any bat. But what really got me was in 367 at bats, he hit 20 homers, which isn't like amazing, but like that coupled with 20 stolen bases is such a great combo, and especially in Colorado, because I think this year we could see him jump to that like 25 homer, 25 stolen bases, maybe flirt with 30. But again, this is someone that gets on base, which is super important, especially in OBP leagues, obviously. But my only issue is the Rockies. The Rockies aren't great, and that lineup is not great. But like you just mentioned with the Royals, you got to hope this development starts to work for them. And I'm really hoping that Nolan Jones is going to be that 3-4 hitter on this team and they're going to build around him. So he's someone that I'm definitely looking at with like I said, 25 season. Keeping that on base percentage over 350. I've been doing a lot of mocks, just like the fantasy sport line, like Draft Wizard mock that like you're going up against computers. And he's going in the 4th in a 15-team mock, which is fine. And it's probably something I'm going to take just because I feel like I usually lack stolen bases just because I'm such a power guy. But getting those 25 bags with 25 home runs is going to be something that I'm really going to be tempted at, especially in that 4th round. So definitely someone that I'm targeting in all of my redraft leagues. I traded for him in one of my dynasty leagues. And in 30 Rock, I do have an offer out for Nolan Jones. And I'm waiting for somebody to accept or decline it. I'm excited about it. I don't think he's going to accept it, though, because his original asking price was moon and the stars, and I just gave him the stars. So we'll see.
Yeah. Just to build on that a little bit, if you combine his AAA and Major League last year in 2023, 32 home runs, 25 stolen bases in 2023.
And give that altitude boost too, man. Like you can't distrust science. I understand we're in a time, not everybody agrees with science, but altitude
is proven.
That,
like you said, the 20 stolen bases, similar to the almost 20 home runs out of CJ Abrams that we talked about earlier, the 20 stolen bases out of Nolan Jones is also like this crazy stat that we're like, wait, what? Nolan Jones had 20 stolen bases. He never stole more than like 5 bags in a season in the minors. So for him to come up and steal 20 bags is pretty crazy, actually. I was going to look up his sprint speed real quick before we jump on to the next guy. We got a comment here. Oh, Andy Bowman, Kyle Bradish 1-1. Interesting. I'm not sure if that's we got an Oriole fan here or a Kyle Bradish fan, but might be a little bit of a reach on Kyle Bradish at 1-1. But yeah, so his sprint speed was actually only in 70th percentile, which is above average, but that's not something you would expect to have 20 stolen bases. Maybe a little bit of regression coming this year, but again, 30-plus home runs is definitely not out of the question for Nolan Jones this year. I'll jump over to one of my guys, and that is Logan O Hoppe, somebody that it's Valentine's Day. It's someone that I love going into 2024, someone that I was in love with in 2023 and was off to a huge, probably a breakout season in 2023, kind of similar, until I believe it was a broken arm or something like that. He missed 4 months of the year. But before that, I mean, he was off to a huge start. He missed 4 months with an injury. And before that, in his 50 games last year, it was like a half and half at the beginning of the year and half at the end of the year. He had 14 home runs, 29 RBIs, and even slugged over 500. His xSlug percentage suggests that it was right in line. He had another even 500 on his xSlug. Catchers don't get a lot of love. This is a guy that I think after this year, he catapults himself into the top 5. I don't think he'll get above like Will Smith or Adley Rushman or anything like that. But I think you can easily get to 25, 30 home runs. I'm just pulling up his ADP here real quick, as long as we're on that topic. Yeah, so right now, his ADP on NFBC is 157, and his Dynasty is 204. So right outside the top 200 in Dynasty. Single catcher league I can get. Double catcher league, he's definitely going to catapult way up. But yeah, I think he could obviously get it, make him supplant himself as a top 5 catcher. I think he was kind of someone that was touted before he was even traded to LA. LA finally gave him the full playing time, and he's making the most out of it right now. Currently, right now, he's ranked top 12, the top 12 catcher. I think he easily catapults to top 5 over guys like Gabriel Moreno, Kale Raleigh, JT Realmuto. I think he'll even outperform, but I don't know if he'll outperform guys like. I think he even outperforms Francisco Alvarez too, who they have like ranked 3rd overall as far as a dynasty catcher. I think O Hoppe's in for a huge breakout as long as he stays healthy.
Yep, and as you remember my Logan O Hoppe story from the Nerf draft last season, when Jake Devereaux pried him from I was ready to press it, and he picked Logan O Hoppe, and then I panicked because you only have like 40 seconds to draft in that fucking league, and I drafted Anthony Volpe, which ended up being fine, but in the moment I was upset because I was ready for another catcher. But totally
I forgot about that. I do forget about that.
I think people are discounting the Angels. I understand, like in these mocks, Trout's going like this around the same ADP as Nolan Jones, and I'm like, is it like Trout's Trout? He's going to be good, and I just think that their ineptitude as an organization puts like a stain on all of their assets, which is great. I'm going to take advantage of that, but Logan O Hoppe, he could easily be a top 4 catcher in fantasy baseball this season. Easily.
Yeah, absolutely. And it appears that Andy is a Baltimore fan because also for some reason commented Heston Kjerstad. I can't remember how to pronounce it, but
Aaron Erstad.
Yeah.
Speaking of Andy,
we got Andy Bowman, the Baltimore fan out here. We're leaving them comments.
Andy.
Love it.
All right. This next one we need to hold our nose for. Okay, we truly do. It's the last one. It's the last girl at the bar. The lights go on your head. Just to stay on.
This isn't on Deck Circle After Dark. Remember?
Yeah, we got a pitcher, and not only a pitcher, Jason, a relief pitcher. Andres Munoz from the Seattle Mariners. Especially in these leagues that we're drafting in soon, like TJFBI, Nerf, and these redrafts, it's important to try and find saves later in drafts. My guy Munoz, I'm going to stick with Munoz. He's currently the 15th ADP for relief pitcher. He's going in around pick 130-ish, depending on which platform. In NFBC, he's about 102 because of that, the primeness of being a relief pitcher. But last year, after Seattle traded Sewald, Munoz got the shot to be the full-time closer. He racked up 11 saves over the last 2 months. His swing and miss stuff is elite. His ERA is good. He did have a little trouble with walks, which is not great in any type of relief role, because that's I feel like a coach would rather you give up a home run than walk 3 guys. Just like a home run's one bad pitch. 3 straight walks are 12 bad pitches. Mm-hmm. So he just needs to limit the walks, and I think he's someone that you could just fetch more value. I could easily see him performing as like a top 8 closer this season, especially on that Mariners team, which is kind of odd. I don't know if they're good or not. Last year kind of really confused me, just because 2 years ago I was like, oh, Mariners going to be good. They have J-Rod. They're going to be great. They have Kalenic. He's coming up. He's going to be good. Spoiler, Kalenic, not good. But I think this is someone we can get value in, especially later in drafts.
I mean, this is like a talking about what we were talking about earlier, but the prospect fatigue. This is a guy that's been in the wings of being a closer, a top end closer for probably 5-6 years now, going back to the San Diego days. He was going to be the next, top tier closer,
Yep.
and we might actually finally get to see that this year in a potential playoff team of Seattle. They're like on that fringe right there. I mean, they might be able to make that jump this year. Yeah, I like it. I think. Let's say, what did you say his ADP was?
For NFBC,
Can't imagine
around 102, I think it was, which is a little bit high. But other like in the Yahoo leagues, it's 139. The consensus is 118.
Yeah, he's 102. Yeah.
So definitely someone just to monitor in drafts, just because, or even pick them and then just wait because the stuff is there, and he might blow a couple saves for you, but the stuff is there, and that's someone that sometimes you just have to bet on the stuff.
I think you said you had a story for us.
Yeah. All right. So Jason, we're going back Sunday to the infamous Jake and Joe's for my salmon Caesar on Sunday. Getting ready. The KDS went through yesterday. I get pick number 15. Great. Love that. Put me at the end of these drafts. I then get a call from a fella named Bob Osgood. He contributes to many different areas in this space. He was my high school substitute teacher, which is hilarious.
Shout out Bob, man. That dude is always making me laugh. He's always got some funny, witty comments to make, and I love Bob.
He's so good. So he calls me. To preface this, I sent him a picture. He's picking 14. So I sent a picture. I said, I'm coming for you. Time passes. He then just calls me. He was like, hey, Nick. I was like, hey, what's up, Bob? I was like, did you see I'm picking after you? He goes, are you fucking stupid? And I said, oh, well, yes, but why? I didn't put 1 as my number 1 priority in KDS. I just did 15, and I won the fucking game.
Oh, you won KDS.
Jason, I won. I won it, and then
hey, the argument could be made that picking 15, 16 is better than picking 1 and 30.
Yes, but it's just so bad and then I went to, because usually I just do 1 then 15 because if I'm not getting 1,
I always want the turn.
You always want the turn. So I think my go-to, which my go-to should be, which was not in this case, is 1, 15, 14, 2, 3.
Yeah.
And then whatever. I don't really care about the rest. But boy, I was excited just to get just talk to Bob for a little bit. I was like, oh, nice. He's gonna shit talk me. And then I realized, nope. So then I go to the Nerf chat.
He's roasting you?
Everyone is just roasting me. So now I just need to fucking win. I just need to go in and win the damn thing just to strictly shove it up their ass, I think. But
Uncle Ted says what up?
Hey, Uncle Ted. That's not my Uncle Ted. But so that's gonna be Sunday. I'll text you. I'm gonna text you after this because as I said, I've been doing some mocks and I have a different idea and I want to know what you think about it, but I'm not gonna put it on air in case these sharps are listening.
All right, so here we go. Real quick hypothetical. We'll just play along with Bob roasting you for being stupid. Would you rather, real quick before we get out of here, Ronald Acuna and Kevin Gausman? Oh no, sorry, you don't do pitchers. So we'll go Acuna, Gunnar Henderson, or Jose Ramirez and Matt Olson.
Wait, who's the
Jose Ramirez and Matt Olson?
Yeah, so that's been my go-to in all of my mocks. I've gotten those two, and or Jordan Alvarez, one of those two. Two of those three have been the people I've been getting every time. So no, I would much rather my guys, those two. But
that's a fun debate because
so fun.
That's a fun debate because I honestly, that's tough. I mean, I don't think Gunnar Henderson's there at 30, but if you could somehow did have number one and you could get Acuna and Gunnar Henderson, I mean, that's
elite.
That's elite. But also, Jose Ramirez and Matt Olson's also elite. 70 home runs and 30 plus stolen bases.
Yeah, that's honestly probably like the same. I understand the majority of it's coming from from one guy.
Right.
But it's the same output. It's just two different ways of getting there.
Uncle Ted must be new here. He missed out on our draft strategy from last year in TGFBI, where it's similar to football, where it's 0 running back. You go 0 starting pitcher. We don't take a starting pitcher till almost like the 10th round. Where you go 10th round last year, I think.
Yep, it's the Zaniboni method, Jason.
Yeah,
I think I'm gonna come out of blog retirement, or I'm just gonna write a blog and send it to you, and you can just post it for me.
Okay, yeah, I'll do that. I'll be like your ghostwriter.
Yes, so
or you'll be my ghostwriter. Sorry.
Yes, I'll be your Drake, or you'll be Drake. I'll be the ghostwriter. That's fine.
Yeah, that works.
Speaking of Drake, no, I'm just playing.
That's reserved for the On Deck Circle After Dark podcast. This is too early in the evening for that talk.
It's baseball bat. All right, Jason.
All right, it's baseball season. All right, man. We'll see you guys next week.